Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. We continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9. We're on chapter 9, and we are hearing from Khatvanga Maharaj. He just has a moment to live. He's come back to the earth, come back to his place, and he's speaking this wonderful knowledge that we get so attached to this material world, but whereas the only thing we need to do is to surrender unto the Supreme Lord Krishna. And that is the way that we can remove the attachment to this material world. So going on, text 48, iti vyavasito buddhya
इति व्यवस्थितो बुद्ध्या
narayana grihitaya
नारायणगृहीतया
hitvanya bhavam ajnanam
हित्वा अन्यभावम् अज्ञानम्
tata swam bhavam astitaha.
ततः स्वभावम् आस्थितः.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Thus, Maharaj Khatvanga, by his advanced intelligence in rendering service to the Lord, gave up false identification with the body full of ignorance. In his original position of eternal servitorship, he engaged himself in rendering service to the Lord. When one actually becomes purely Krishna conscious, no one has any right to rule over him. When situated in Krishna consciousness, one is no longer in the darkness of ignorance. And when freed from all such darkness, one is situated in his original position. Jivera Swarupaya Krishnera Nityadas. The living entity is eternally the servant of the Lord, and thus, when he engages himself in the servant of the Lord in all respects, he enjoys the perfection of life. So pure devotee, he is serving Krishna all the time. That is our eternal position. Lord Chaitanya tells us, Lord Chaitanya begins his teachings with this. Jivera Swarupai Krishna, Krishnera Nityadas, that we are eternally servants of Krishna. So Prabhupada is mentioning that when one is serving Krishna, no one has any right to rule over him. The pure devotee. It's the perfection of life. Yattad Brahma Param Sukshmam
यत्तत् ब्रह्म परं सूक्ष्मं
Ashunyam Shunya Kalpitam
शून्यं शून्यकल्पितम्
Bhagavan Vasudeveti
भगवान् वासुदेवेति
Yam Grananti Hi Satvataha.
यं गृह्णन्ति हि सात्वताः.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudev, Krishna, is extremely difficult to understand for unintelligent men who accept him as impersonal or void, which he is not. The Lord is therefore understood and sung about by pure devotees. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 11, Vadanti tat tattvavidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdiyate. The absolute truth is realized in three phases, as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the origin of everything. Brahman is a partial representation of Bhagavan, and Vasudev, the super soul living everywhere and in everyone's heart, is also an advanced realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But when one comes to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva Sarvamiti, when one realizes that Vasudev is both Paramatma and the impersonal Brahman, he is then in perfect knowledge. So, God, the absolute truth, is realized in three phases. Bhagavatam is saying this as the impersonal Brahman, the Brahma Jyoti, as the Paramatma, and as Bhagwan. But one who has knowledge of Bhagwan, then he has perfect knowledge because he can understand that the Brahman is also a partial representation of Bhagwan. It's the energy of God, it's the light coming from God. And Paramatma is his expansion by which he's pervading the entire universe. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So Krishna is therefore described by Arjuna as Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. The words Param Brahma refer to the shelter of the impersonal Brahman and also of the all-pervading super soul. So Param Brahma, here Param Brahma referring to the Brahman. So Brahman, that is the Brahmajyoti, impersonal Brahman, and also of the super soul. We hear in one of the purports in chapter 15 of Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada says that the super soul, then he goes into the Brahmajyoti. So when Krishna says Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti, this means that the perfect devotee, after perfect realization, returns home back to Godhead. So in the spiritual world, because in the spiritual world, there is no need of Paramatma. We can see God face to face, be with God, talk to God. So, so Paramatma is with us here in this till the time we are in the material world. But once we go back to Godhead, then we are with Krishna directly. So Maharaj Khatwanga accepted the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and because of his full surrender, he achieved perfection. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purports of the ninth canto, ninth chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Dynasty of Amshuman. So this brings us to the end of this chapter of the descendants of Amshuman. Khatwanga Maharaj is coming in the dynasty of Amshuman. We see that he is actually a pure devotee. He said he was always attached to Krishna. He was never attached or attracted by anything material. He could have asked the demigods for a material benediction, but he's not attracted to anything material. So he asked the demigods, how long will I live? They said only a moment. And he says, that's enough for me to fix my mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He went to the spiritual world, back home, back to Godhead. Did you have any comments or questions on this chapter that we finished? Anyone?
No.
See, what are a few things that we can learn from the story of Khatwanga Maharaj?
We should be involved in pure devotional service without any desire of material benefits or anything. Anya Bilashita Shunyam. And a
Mm,
moment
yeah, pure
is
devotional
enough. Yeah.
service.
A moment is enough to attain God if the devotee is a pure devotee, then just a remembrance of a moment you can achieve Krishna.
Mm, yeah, one moment.
This is the
So then
real
some
duty
um,
of the living entity. This is the real
duty.
occupation duty. serving, to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jiveda Swarupaya, Krishneda,
Jivera Swarupai Krishnera Nityadas.
Nityadas.
That our Swarup, the Swarup of the Jiva,
Yeah.
is Krishnera Nityadas. Yeah, eternally we are servants of Krishna. Okay, thank you. Shall we go on to chapter 10?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. The pastimes of the Supreme Lord Ramachandra, Ramchandra Bhagavan ki jai.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to read short summary here. This 10th chapter describes how Lord Ramachandra appeared in the dynasty of Maharaj Khatwanga. It also describes the Lord's activities, telling how he killed Ravan and returned to Ayodhya, the capital of his kingdom. The son of Maharaj Khatwanga was Dirgabahu, and his son was Raghu. The son of Raghu was Aja. The son of Aja was Dashrath. And the son of Dashrath was Lord Ramachandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the Lord descended into this world in his full quadruple expansion as Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughan, great sages like Valmiki, who were actually in knowledge of the absolute truth, described his transcendental pastimes. Srila Sukadeva Goswami describes these pastimes in brief. So here in Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami is just telling us very briefly about Lord Ramachandra, because in detail is his pastimes are mentioned in Ramayana. Prabhupada is saying, like, great sages like Valmiki, they have already described. Lord Ramachandra went with Vishwamitra and killed Rakshasas like Maricha. After breaking the stout and strong bow known as Haradhanu, the Lord married Mata Sita and cut down the prestige of Parashuram. To obey the order of his father, he entered the forest, accompanied by Lakshman and Sita. There he cut off the nose of Surpanakha and killed the associates of Ravan, headed by Khara and Dushana. Ravan's kidnapping of Sita Devi was the beginning of this demon's misfortune. When Maricha assumed the form of a golden deer, Lord Ramachandra went to bring the deer to please Sita Devi. But in the meantime, Ravan took advantage of the Lord's absence to kidnap her. When Sita Devi was kidnapped, Lord Ramachandra, accompanied by Lakshman, searched for her throughout the forest. In the course of this search, they met Jatayu. Then the Lord killed the demon Kabanda and the commander Vali and established a friendly relationship with Sugriva. After organizing the military strength of the monkeys and going with them to the shore of the sea, the Lord awaited the arrival of Samudra, the ocean personified. But when Samudra did not come, the Lord, the master of Samudra, became angry. Then Samudra came to the Lord with great haste and surrendered to him, wanting to help him in every way. The Lord then attempted to bridge the ocean, and with the help of advice from Vibhishan, he attacked Ravan's capital Lanka. Previously, Hanuman, the eternal servant of the Lord, had set fire to Lanka, and now, with the help of Lakshman, the forces of Lord Ramachandra killed all the Rakshas soldiers. Then Lord Ramachandra personally killed Ravan. Mandodari and other wives lamented for Ravan, and in accordance with Lord Ramachandra's order, Vibhishan performed the funeral ceremonies for all the dead in the family. Lord Ramachandra then gave Vibhishan the right to rule Lanka and also granted him a long duration of life. The Lord delivered Sita Devi from the Ashok forest and carried her in a flower aeroplane to his capital Ayodhya, where he was received by his brother Bharat. When Lord Ramachandra entered Ayodhya, Bharat brought his wooden shoes. Vibhishan and Sugriv held a whisk and fan. Hanuman carried an umbrella. Shatrughan carried the Lord's bow and two quivers, and Sita Devi carried a water pot containing water from holy places. Angad carried a sword, and Jambavan, Rikshraj, carried a shield. After Lord Ramachandra, accompanied by Lord Lakshman and Mother Sita Devi, met all his relatives, the great sage Vashishta enthroned him as king. The chapter ends with a short description of Lord Ramachandra's rule in Ayodhya. So we can see that Sukadev Goswami, he's just mentioning few main pastimes, not going in very detail because it's already been described in Ramayana. Shishukuvacha
Ishukawacha
Khatvanga Dirgha Bahuscha
Katvanka Dirgabahuscha
Ragustasmat Pritushavaha
Ragustasmat Pritushravah
Ajastato Maharajas
Ajastato Maharajas
Tasmat Dashrato Bhavat.
Tasmat Dashrato Bhavat.
Sukadev Goswami said the son of Maharaj Khatvanga was Dirgha Bahu and his son was the celebrated Maharaj Raghu. From Maharaj Raghu came Aja, and from Aja was born the great personality Maharaj Dashrath. So Khatwanga's son is, who's Khatwanga's son?
Dirgabahu.
Dirghabahu. And Dirghabahu's son is
Raghu
Raghu.
Maharaj.
Actually, they say Raghupati Raj.
Yeah.
Raghu. Raghu. And Raghu's son is
Aja.
Aja. And Aja is Dashrath's father. So Aja is Lord Ramachandra's grandfather, and Raghu is his great grandfather. Like that, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
That
Okay.
is a Raghunandan, no?
Raghunandan. Yeah. So great grandfather. Okay. Tasyapi Bhagavan Esha.
Tasyapi Bhagavan Esha
Saksh Sakshat Brahma Mayo Hari.
Sakshat Brahmamayo Hari
Amsham Shena Chaturdhaga.
Amsham Shena Chaturdhagat
Putratvam Prarthita Sure.
Putratvam Pratita Sure
Rama Lakshmana Bharata
Rama Lakshmana Bharata
Shatru Shatrughna iti samgyaya.
Shatrughna iti samgyaya.
Being prayed for by the demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth Himself, directly appeared with His expansion and expansions of the expansion. Their holy names were Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. These celebrated incarnations thus appeared in four arms as the sons of Maharaj Dashrath. Lord Ramachandra and his brothers Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna are all Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expands into many, many forms. Advaitam Achyutam Anadi Ananta Rupam. Although they are one and the same, Vishnu Tattva has many forms and incarnations. So God is one, but He has many expansions. As confirmed in the Brahma Samhita 539, Rama Adi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishthan. The Lord is situated in many forms, such as Ram, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna, and these forms may exist in any part of His creation. All these forms exist permanently, eternally, as individual personalities of Godhead, and they resemble many candles, all equally powerful. Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna, who being Vishnu Tattva, are all equally powerful, became the sons of Maharaj Dashrath in response to prayers by the demigods. So they are all powerful, equally powerful. Lord Rama, Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrughna. But depending on the pastime, they display their power. You know, all the incarnations, expansions of the Lord are equally powerful. But what is needed in that pastime, to that degree he displays the power. Prabhupada gives the example that the powerhouse is also is giving power to a small bulb in our house and also to the big industrial lights. So in our house, we don't need those big industrial lights. A small bulb will do. But in those big industries, those huge, very bright lights are needed. So depending on the time, place, circumstance, the Lord displays his power, although all the incarnations are equally powerful. Okay?
Yes, yeah.
Mm. Shall we go into this or stop here? This may be long, right?
Correct.
We may
Long,
have to
yeah.
stop. Okay, so we'll stop here then. Did you want to
Yeah.
add anything?
Mm. Mm, mm.
Okay, so we are going to continue reading Lord Ramchandra's pastimes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for listening and joining.